You bunch of hot, sweaty, perverted parrots. We are back for another episode of Fat Jack's Sunday Service. How are you all doing? It's been a bit of a challenging week, weather-wise. So I'm just really well prepared here. I wanted to set a timer to see how long we're going for. And I completely forgot until we started this. So, last week we did some TikTok reviews. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea then. But if you're back, you've got excellent taste or you've got absolutely nothing else to do on a Sunday. So I thought we could have a look at some stuff I found on the internet. This week I was doom scrolling as you do, and I stumbled upon some absolute madmen from history. Proper the boys of history. When we talk about great men and conquerors and all that fucking boring textbook rubbish stuff, forget it. History is actually just a collection of blokes who are either very lucky, very brave, or just didn't give a toss about the rules. The first one that I found is a man called Stanislav Petrov. I'm gonna paint you a picture. Now this is like a Fat Jack's history lesson here. It's gonna blow your mind. This is. Sorry about the stuffy nose as well. Obviously it's summer. There's hay fever, and this is why I fucking hate summer. So, it's 1983. The Cold War is at its peak. And the Americans and the Russians are staring at each other, waiting for someone to blink and make the first move. It's like a game of our mate chicken. Like, who's gonna fucking snore the other one first? Old Stanislav is on shift in his underground bunker in the middle of nowhere. And if you know anything about the Soviet military, it's not exactly known for its flexible thinking. It's mostly do what you're told or go and get fingered in Siberia in a gulag. Not quite the Call of Duty gulag either. Oh, and if you're wondering why we have a spaniel on a Veyron, we'll get to that in a bit. Oh, sorry about the nose. It's terrible. So the alarm goes off on the system. It's a state-of-the-art, high-tech piece of gear. Basically starts screaming at Big Stanislav that the Americans have launched a nuclear strike. Now, if you're me or anyone with half a brain, you're thinking, right, let's go home, kiss the missus, and find a fuck-off big fridge to hide in. But Stanislav, Big Stan, the Slav, he just stares at it, and he looks at it, and he's hammering at it, thinking about Volkswagen Passats and all that. And he realises that the satellite is reading a reflection of the sun, which is reflected off the clouds, and the computer thinks it's missiles. He's looking at the screen, and he's looking like he's looking at a phone in his hand that could start the end of the world, and basically decides, nah, it's a glitch. He didn't even have a backup plan. He just sat there and risked being shot by his own superiors because he didn't want to start a war over a reflection. That is the definition of unbothered. So yeah, like I was saying, old Stanislav Petrov, he just sits there holding the fate of humanity in his hands and decides to go with his gut. He didn't have a spreadsheet, he didn't have a team of geniuses, he just had common sense, which, if we're honest, is the rarest commodity in human history. He didn't actually report it to his superiors either. He waited and waited, and nothing happened. No nuclear missiles, just a very quiet room in a very dark bunker. You'd think the higher ups would give him a medal, wouldn't you? Maybe a lifetime supply of vodka or something. No, they basically gave him a slap on the wrist for not filling in the right paperwork. It's mind-blowing, really, isn't it? You save the world and your boss is like, yeah, great job, but where's that form? You haven't filled it out. And that's the bureaucracy of the world for you. It's enough to make you want to walk into the sea. Just keep walking and not turn around. Keep walking and walking and walking until you cannot walk any further. So yeah, but that's just one type of hero that I found over the weekend. And then you got the other type, the guys who don't just stop a disaster, they cause one for the people who deserve it. So let's talk about the next unlikely history hero. And I'm sorry if my green screen's a bit shit as well. I can't be asked to turn the light on, but you just have to deal with it. Robert Smalls. If you haven't heard of him, go and grab a pen and a pencil to write this down, because it makes your favourite heist movie look like a trip to the local corner shop for a bag of crisps. So again, bit of a history movie. I don't know why I said history 3 times then. But I'm going to set the scene for you again. It's 1862, which is a hell of a year. The American Civil War is in full swing. There's bald eagles flying everywhere, Confederate flags everywhere, all that stuff, all that American stuff. Maybe McDonald's is starting to open and making cheeseburgers. It could be. But our boy here, Robert Smalls, he's enslaved and he's working on this Confederate transport ship called the Planter, which is in the Charleston Harbour. Now, the captain of this ship was a real piece of work apparently, and he decided one night to go to sleep in town, leaving the ship essentially in the hands of the enslaved crew. And Smalls, this guy, who's an absolute unit apparently, he looked at the other crew and basically said, "Come here lads, we're going to nick this fucking boat, John." And it's not like a kayak or a fucking 3-man boat. It's a fucking steamship. It's got guns, it's got cannons. It is literally a weapon of war. And he puts on the captain's straw hat, because apparently fashion is important when you're committing high stakes treason. And he navigates this massive ship out of the harbour. He had to pass every single Confederate checkpoint, including the most heavily guarded fort in the south. And he got away with it, because every time they hit a signal point, apparently he just stood there, gave the secret code which he'd memorised as being part of the crew, and tipped his hat. And he's basically playing a real life version of Grand Theft Auto 1862, and doing it so confidently that no one suspected a thing. That's part of the thing, isn't it? It's like if you've got a fluorescent jacket and a clipboard and you're confident enough, you'll be able to get anywhere you want, because people don't question confidence. So he gets to the Union blockade, takes off the Confederate flag and puts up a white bedsheet, which is the ultimate "don't shoot me, I come in peace." And he hands over the ship, the cannons and the whole load of secret codes to the Union. He didn't just escape from being enslaved though, he handed the North a victory on a silver platter. And the best part about it, he didn't retire to a beach somewhere, he stayed and fought and became a politician and pushed for better education laws. Do you call that gangster? Does that make him gangster? I don't know. It makes him a bit weird though. But like, if you see what I mean, we only get taught about like the main people from history, don't we? Whereas there's loads and loads of people who sit there, and again, we only get taught about like politicians who sit in air-conditioned offices. But look at like people like fucking old Smalls, no training, no support, he just wanted to get the job done. Most of us struggled to get out of bed and put the fucking bins out, and this bloke stole a battleship before breakfast. It's pretty inspiring, really. It's inspiring, it's ridiculous, and it makes you think, what could we actually do if you stop overthinking and just went for it? I mean, in my case, probably nothing, but it's impressive, and we can dream, can't we? So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on to a man. The next history. What should we call it? History subject. We've covered the man who saved the world by being a professional skeptic, the man who pulled off the greatest heist in nautical history, bar when I send a shit down the toilet. And now I think we should talk about someone from for a better word, an absolute, unmitigated, chaotic force of nature. Have you ever heard of Wojtek the Bear? I think he was called. And yeah, a bear. I am saying a bear, you know. A Syrian brown bear who was an official soldier in the Polish army during World War II. Let's see if we can. I don't know. I don't want to get rid of the spaniel actually. Let's see if we can have a quick Google of Wojtek the Bear. Because this should be. There we go. We should be like in the time of he's got his own bloody. Oh, look at that! Hello, doggy. He's got his own statue and everything. That's cool. That is. So he was part of the Polish army, as we know, or don't know, during World War II. And in the middle of all the carnage, there's a group of Polish soldiers find this bear orphaned in Iran. And they don't think, oh look, a fucking bear, let's shoot him and get on with it. No, they think, oh yeah, here's a new lad for the squad. So they raised him, they fed him milk from a vodka bottle, they gave him marmalade, and basically turned him into the ultimate mascot. But here's the weird thing. Old Wojtek, he didn't just sit around looking cute. He learned to salute, and he learned to wrestle, and he let the boys win. Usually because he was professional, but you know, how they're built different, aren't they? The Poles, they're just out there wrestling bears for fun, and the bears letting them win. Fucking madness. But the Poles, they had to head to Italy apparently for the Battle of Monte Cassino, and the army had a rule: no pets on the transport ships. So the logical thing to do, they enlisted him. Yep. There's no rules about enlisting a bear, I assume. So they gave him a rank, a serial number, and a pay book. So he was a private and officially on the payroll of the army. Now they get to Monte Cassino, which was a complete meat grinder. The guys are running crates of armour under heavy fire. It's stressful, it's loud, and it's a nightmare. And suddenly they look over, and there's Wojtek. And he stands up on his hind legs, he reaches out, takes a crate of heavy mortar shells, stuff that would take 2 normal men to carry, and starts hauling it to the front line. Doesn't panic, he doesn't drop anything, he's just doing his bit for the war effort, like he's unloading shopping from the boot of his car. That bear became a legend after the war. He actually lived in Edinburgh Zoo, where his old army mates would jump over the fence to give him a cigarette or a beer. You imagine being at the zoo, just like some old Polish war veteran jumps a barrier to go and give his mate a ciggy, and the bear's stood there again. Kurva bear. It is mental, isn't it? But it's quite beautiful when you think about it. In a world that's trying to be dark and miserable as possible, the soldiers found their way to keep humanity by adopting a massive cigarette-smoking, beer-drinking bear. And that really, it tells you everything you need to know about history. It's not just charts, dates, and pyramids and all that shit. We just have some genuine characters doing the most bizarre shit you could imagine. So next on my list of stuff I want to talk about this week, after we've had a quick history lesson, let me get rid of Wojtek there, and let's see if there's any pictures. Let's go to Google. I don't know why I'm on this. It just doesn't. I don't like it. Where are we? Oh God, fucking hell! Give me Google. Where's Google? I don't want Bing. Google. Right. Oh my God. Right, Mat Armstrong Bugatti. Now this is why I had the Spaniel picture there. Oh, why am I still on fucking Bing, man. Give me Google. Where's Google? There's Google. I fucking hate Bing. Fuck Bing. Right. Images. Do we have an image of it finished? Oh god, I should have researched this, shouldn't I? Hold on. Let me ask ChatGPT. Find me a picture of Mat Armstrong's Bugatti at the Top Gear test track. Let's see what this comes up with. So yeah, he apparently, fucking great. Let's try Mat Armstrong's Instagram. Sorry everyone, this is a shit show. This Mat Armstrong YouTube, Mat Armstrong. We'll just do it the manual way. Oh, fucking adverts. Let's fucking mute this shit. We'll play that. So Mat Armstrong has finished, or tried to finish, his Bugatti, and it's not gone well, has it? And it's actually not in a too dissimilar colour to my old Spaniel mate here. The colour of it is let's get rid of this here. The colour, I think he's absolutely ruined it. Right, now we need a shot of it with the wheels on it, don't we? Oh, there we go. So let's see if it gets the wheels in the frame. Because no, not yet. Let's have a. Oh god, what the fucking hell has he done to this car? Look at the state of it. I really do not like what he's done to this car. Look at them. Now, if it was any other car, I could cope with these wheels. But why? Let's have a video. Let's listen to it. Right, I'm not in any way a Mat Armstrong hater, but he's ruined this Bugatti. It looks fucking shit on them. Why would you do that to such a nice car? I just don't get it. There's got to be other wheels that could have been put on this car, because it just looks like it's been to Bradford. It's a Bradford spec Bugatti Veyron, and you know, there's some cars which shouldn't be allowed to be Bradford spec. This is one of them. This is a car that should be classy. It should be owned by actual normal people with a bit of wedge, and they shouldn't be allowed to Bradford them like this has been Bradforded. I have a lot of respect for Mat Armstrong and what he's doing, but this looks absolutely dog shit, in my opinion. But then again, who's got the Veyron and who hasn't got the Veyron? I've got a shite little Corsa and some remote control cars. So, who's winning? It's definitely him. He had some problems with it though, didn't he, when he rebuilt it? They obviously got it to the Top Gear test track, and it wouldn't run, which is a shock. But then, like, what I didn't understand about the video was he's got all these. He must have had that car for some time now, and they've been on about these little cylinders that build up the pressure for the gearbox, and they've been on about them in like 2 or 3 videos, and this has been going on for some time. This has with these little cylinders, like, and they're going, oh yeah, they're fine. No, they're not fine. Yes, they're fine. No, they're not. And they had loads and loads and loads of time to get these cylinders, but never bothered to order them. And then they had to get one cylinder brought in before they went to the Top Gear track, and apparently that wasn't enough because they weren't holding pressure. I just don't understand it. It's like you're going to spend money on some shit wheels, but you didn't get the cylinders done. It's a bit of a weird one for me. So yeah, but I've got no hate for Mat Armstrong, because I love what he's doing and respect the hustle of where he's made it to, because it's amazing what he's done. And I listened to him on a podcast the other day, the Carl Hartley podcast, and just where he's come from to where he is now, it's incredible. It's an incredible journey. Next one on the list, the Auto Alex podcast, Lotus Carlton. Now, if you're not aware of what a Lotus Carlton is, let's ask our mate, Chat Jupiter. What is a Lotus Carlton? Just to give anyone, because there's a few American listeners to this podcast, we'll give you a background story. Rah. So, the Lotus Carlton is a legendary British super saloon from the early 90s. Sorry, that's my dog making weird noises. And it became famous for being shockingly fast for a 4-door family car. Let's have a look at some pictures. Oosh! What a machine. Look at that. That is something that new cars are lacking at the moment, isn't it? Interiors. Comfy interiors. I love a classic interior. So it was built by Lotus between 1990 and 1992. It was based on the Vauxhall Carlton, which was sold as the Opel Omega in Europe. And it had a 3.6 litre twin turbocharged straight six engine, which made around 377 horsepower and 419 foot-pounds of torque, which is 568 newton meters, with a 6-speed manual gearbox sourced from a Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 with a top speed of 176 mile an hour. And it became famous in the early 90s because it was faster than most Ferraris and Porsches. And the politicians and police argued that you shouldn't be allowed a family saloon car that's capable of 180 mile an hour. And it was used in a load of crimes and all that stuff. But the one that Auto Alex has bought, it's not looking good, is it? If we're completely honest. It's looking a little bit crispy. And by crispy, I don't mean crispy in a good way. I mean crispy as in that thing looks fucked with a capital F. It's an absolute rot box. And they were saying on there, because they brought it off a really nice bloke who knew loads of stuff about it, and this bloke wouldn't sell us a shit car because he's such an enthusiast. But I can't help but think that what was he called? Was he called Barry? I think he was called Barry. I can't help but think that Barry has done them over a little bit and got one up on them, because he was an absolute Lotus Carlton nerd. He had all this paperwork in the boot, all these stories about it. He even had the proper Vauxhall OBD1 code reader for it, which not a normal person wouldn't have. He was like, oh yeah, I was going to keep it, but I'm getting on, and I jacked it up to have a look at the suspension, and I realised, I can't do this anymore. And because he used to be a mechanic himself, any self-respecting mechanic would have noticed the sills on it, because there's a hole in them, and if they looked properly, they'd have found all the filler and all the stuff on the other parts of it. This Barry, I think he's called Barry, I might be getting this wrong, he was saying, like, he's took it to shows, he's done this, and he's had all this work done to it, and he's gone over it top to bottom. If he's gone over it top to bottom, he'd have known about all the filler and stuff. And I honestly cannot help but think that he knew all about that. And I think he's obviously as well done something where he's managed to get the engine management light to stay off, because as soon as they jumped in it to drive it home, the engine management light came on. Now that could be just a complete coincidence, but all things point to they've been screwed on that car, and I think it's going to end up being pretty much a full restoration. if they had any plans for it where it might have been like, oh, we'll just buy it, get it MOT worthy, and then take it on a road trip. That is not happening now, because the thing is like a fucking bag of bran flakes. It's absolutely fucked. It's a shame, really. But I say it's a shame. It was the cheapest one on the internet. Well, cheapest one that you can buy by far. So again, you're going to expect it to be a little bit crusty, but I can't help but think that old Barry knew what he was doing, and it's a bit stupid, really, because they would have known that it's going on YouTube, unless he doesn't understand what YouTube is, because he was an old bloke. Unless he didn't understand that, but you know, trying to sell a car to YouTubers, it's looking like a bit of a minefield, isn't it? It just seems like more hassle than what it's worth. So yeah, we wish them all the best in getting that car sorted. And also, a little side mention, Top Dead Centre, it's like a sister channel, isn't it, to Auto Alex. It's part of the Auto Alex multiverse. This is them there. I like watching this channel. It's a good channel. But Will has actually just managed to buy himself a Lamborghini Murcielago, which, you know, oh, here it is. Look at that. Fair play. Now, this is what I like to see. I like to see people doing well for themselves, working hard, and getting their dream car, which you cannot knock him. I think he's around the same age as me, and he's got a Murcielago. So, you know, fair play to Will from Top Dead Centre, and on the Cream podcast. That's also a good podcast. If you want to listen to any more podcasts, go and check that out. But yeah, I think we're going to call that a day for this week. I know it's going to be a bit short, but my voice is going. I can feel it going. So yeah, be cool, like this Spaniel on top of a Bugatti. Enjoy the hot weather. Look after yourselves. All that stuff. And yeah, we'll see you next week for some more history lessons. Goodbye.